Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the story of a scientific revolution, one that tried to finally unlock the secrets of the human mind. You know, for most of human history, figuring out how we think was a job for philosophers. The mind itself was basically a black box. We could see what went in and what came out, but what was actually happening on the inside, that was a complete mystery. But what if we could actually peek inside that box? What if we could map out the machinery of thought itself, not with abstract ideas, but with actual science? To really get what a big deal this was, we first have to understand the ancient problem that everyone was trying to solve. I mean, we're talking about questions that go all the way back to the ancient Greeks, questions about knowledge and ideas and reason. And for thousands of years, that was philosophy's turf. Even when psychology showed up in the 19th century, it really struggled to figure out a scientific way to study our inner life. In fact, for a while, the most popular school of thought, behaviorism, basically said the mind was off limits. Seriously, it argued that science could only study what it could physically see, external actions. That whole black box of the mind, they said it was irrelevant. So you can imagine, this created a massive vacuum. By refusing to study the mind, the biggest questions were just left hanging. And a brand new field, born in the 1950s, was more than ready to jump in and fill that gap. What happened was pretty amazing. You had scholars from all these wildly different areas who started to realize they were all circling the exact same problems about memory, language, and thought. And it was like a light bulb went on. They realized the mind wasn't some mysterious, ghostly thing. It was a system. And if it's a system, it can be studied scientifically. And boom, that was the birth of cognitive science. And this wasn't just one discipline trying to go it alone. Nope, it was like a scientific super team, a dream team of 6 fields. You had philosophy bringing the big questions, psychology with its experiments, linguistics with the structure of language, anthropology with cultural context, neuroscience with the mechanics of the brain, and, this is the crucial one, computer science with a powerful new tool. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Because computer science didn't just provide a new method, it provided the core metaphor for this entire new science. I mean, think about it. The digital computer was revolutionary. It wasn't just a fancy calculator. It was a machine that manipulated symbols based on a set of rules. And that offered a concrete, testable way to think about thinking itself. So here's the crucial point, the absolute central idea of cognitive science. It's that thinking is a form of computation. The mind has mental representations, you can think of those as data structures, and it has computational processes. Those are like the algorithms that run on that data. So in a way, our brain is the hardware and our mind is the software. Now, this powerful idea took a couple of different forms. You had some researchers, the functionalists, who were really focused on the software, modeling the mind as a formal machine. Then you had others, the connectionists, who were more interested in the hardware, drawing inspiration directly from the brain's interconnected network of neurons. Okay, so to see just how powerful this new science was, let's look at how it tackled an age-old philosophical puzzle, maybe one of the biggest. How do scientists actually make discoveries? A pioneer in this new field, a guy named Herbert came along and totally reframed the question. He argued that the whole eureka moment wasn't some mystical flash of genius. Nope. He said scientific discovery is just a special and very complex type of problem solving. And you have to understand what a huge shift in thinking this was. For centuries, the old goal was to find some kind of perfect, guaranteed recipe for discovery. Simon's approach was way more practical. He basically said, let's forget about finding a magic formula and just try to model the process scientists actually use. To do this, he introduced a really key concept, heuristics. Now, a heuristic isn't a perfect algorithm. It's a mental shortcut. It's a rule of thumb. It's not guaranteed to give you the absolute best answer, but it's a really efficient way to find a pretty good answer fast. It's like guessing a password. You don't try every combination in the universe. You start with common words and important dates. So instead of a blind, random search through every possible answer, a heuristic is selective. It guides your search. It's like being in a giant library. Instead of checking every single book, you use the catalog and focus on the most promising sections first. It's an intelligent, guided strategy. All right, so this new computational approach didn't just shake up psychology, it actually created a whole new way of doing philosophy. See, traditionally, philosophy of science had this strict rule. It only cared about the context of justification, analyzing a scientific theory after it was all finished and tidy. But the messy part, the context of discovery, how the idea was actually generated in the first place, philosophers consider that a topic for psychologists, not for them.
Well, cognitive science changed all that. Researchers like Paul Thagard started building computer programs that could actually simulate the process of discovery. They were modeling how a scientist might come up with and test new ideas. This brought the whole messy, creative process of discovery back into the realm of serious, rigorous analysis.
So, as you might guess, this incredibly powerful analogy of the mind as a computer, a physical machine that processes symbols, inevitably reignited one of the oldest and deepest debates in all of philosophy. We're talking about the classic mind-body problem. Is the mind some kind of immaterial ghost living inside the machine of the body? That view is called dualism. Or is the mind simply what the physical brain does? That's materialism. The computational theory of mind lands squarely in the materialist camp, suggesting that our mental states are just physical states of our brain's hardware. Now, to be clear, cognitive science today is a much broader field. The simple mind is computer idea is no longer the only game in town. But you can't deny that this foundational analogy, born back in the 1950s, was the spark that lit the whole fire. And it continues to drive research in everything from neuroscience to artificial intelligence. And that leaves us with a final and pretty provocative thought. If our thinking is just the result of computational processes running on the hardware of our brain, what truly separates human consciousness from the artificial intelligence we're creating right now?